Welcome to Book of Engen, episode 14. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. And if you like it, or if you hate it, do share. Who knows who might like it or who might hate it. Well, here we are. The pandemic is on, the riots are on, and we're taking down statues, and basically the canceling culture has reached another level right now. First, and if you think about it, the canceling culture tried all this on itself first. Like, they practiced on each other for a long time, because we're now living in an environment where it is possible that you can say, I like sunflowers, and then someone will come and say, no, how dare you, you hate roses. And then someone else will come and say, you need to educate yourself about cactuses. It just goes on and on. People write about these things, and it is true. It is true. Those are extremely well descriptions of what we are going through these days. And the canceling culture is now happening to the former generals or Confederate military personnel, or didn't they also tear down Washington's statue somewhere? So this is imagine, partially you see it, of course, they were slave owners, this and that. And then you look at, the white folk who been maybe telling stories about how their great uncle was this or great grandpa was that in the history books, and now those statues are taking away, and now they don't have a story to tell. And the funny thing is, this very crowd who gets offended by having their ancestors' statue tear down are also the ones who send their kids to the military. Among these folks, sending your children to the military is very important. It's a family pride, having a child in the military. And the very military personnel has created wars or took part in wars where, as a result of those wars, people broke the thousands of years of art, because some other tribe now is in charge, and they wanted to just erase the enemy's history by wrecking their statue. So this is just not an America thing. This is a world thing, and it's a human thing. Somehow we can possess the urge to wipe someone completely off the face of the earth. And the funny thing is, it's you never prepare for these things, but this behavior manifests itself as a result of change. And now, where do I stand all this? I'm all for maybe moving the statues and collecting them in a museum, and then have schools do field trips to these things, so you can talk about these characters and what they have done in the past. And definitely keep all the details beautifully transparent fashion. Keep all the details of the civil rights movement. Lately, because of the recent events and the Black Lives Matter movement and the protests, I am listening to a lot of black speakers' point of views, and all sorts of point of views, like really hardcore Malcolm X style point of views versus Martin Luther King Jr. Piece, and like get organized and become a body, so the other side will recognize it and hopefully make the necessary changes. And it's interesting. It's interesting. The point of views should not be dismissed. That's my conclusion. Like the hardcore ones who are saying, delete these people and deem KKK as a terrorist group. Why are we having Nazis speak up in this country? I think these are legitimate questions and they need answers. KKK is a terrorist group. They don't have to be a foreign terrorist group to be a terrorist group. They are a domestic terrorist group. They put fear in a targeted group's hearts. That is a terrorist group. Terror meaning is fear. Come on. Why is this why is it taking this long? Why it shouldn't take Engin to talk about this. I'm sure this has been talked about, but how did we allow it to be ignored this far? Like, freedom of speech is freedom of speech, but freedom of speech, like I said before, has a lot to do with listening. And then what you say and how you go about things does have consequences. How is a terrorist group just going around without any consequences? They make people uncomfortable with a symbol. They just sit there with a symbol on their jackets or whatever. The flag they wave makes a group of people uncomfortable, and this is known knowledge. Why aren't we doing anything about it? That's a good question. And then, like the conservative side of black people talk about the victim mentality. Victim mentality is, I don't believe victim mentality is something that can just, like, black people most likely definitely go through that motion as well, and then they have their own reason, but I can guarantee you brown people, yellow people, olive people, we all go through that that victim mentality because bad things happen, and then we kind of ponder and it's a human thing about feeling bad about your position when things don't go the way you hope it would. So, and especially when we're younger, when we have insecurities, and if those insecurities are stoked with additional elements such as your race, where you're from, what class you belong to, these can create chips on your shoulder. For example, I am Turkish, and in Turkey, when I was exposed to Americans, expats and whatnot, I always sensed this like condescending attitude of Americans towards Turkey, towards Turkish ways, towards the way we say live. And then you will find this in all Turks, maybe other immigrants as well, but let me speak a specific way. Like, I can tell who is Turkish in a crowd of people. I don't have to talk to them. Let me just like watch 100 people and I'll pick the Turkish people out of, let them interact, and I can pick out Turkish people without listening to the language, just the body movement and how they interact. Like, they can speak perfect English. I will point out the Turkish one among them. Maybe it's blood, maybe there's a certain gesture, a certain movement that we identify with, and it's a cultural thing. And we get affected by our culture. Excuse me. So if as a whole, as a culture, you can have a chip on your shoulder as well, and that is also induced by your culture. If we all feel a little less when we're among Americans, it's a shared feeling. But that shared feeling comes with also the America's attitude. But Europeans do the same thing. Europeans come to Turkey and act like they're better than us, and we do cater to that. We like look at. I remember when I was little, for me, any foreigner was just like more knowledgeable for some reason. That was my understanding. Any foreigner, any foreign student, this and that, they were just like. Then you approach them with that expectation, thinking that they are wiser, they know they've been exposed to better things and bigger things, and they might have seen more than you have because you have not left your town yet. But you find out, assholes are everywhere. And we have Turkish people who are condescending towards other countries. Like I can pull out a handful of Turkish people who moved to America, and then they will complain about America. They're just, something is wrong with America. Yes, something is wrong with everything. There's room for improvement for everything. But there's a group of Turkish people who live here. They are very successful, and then they'll just constantly point at the shortcomings of America, how dusty it is, or how this is, how unintelligent it is, just like the Americans who I witnessed behave in that fashion when they were in Turkey. What am I saying here? It sounds like a mumbo jumbo, but the problem here, yes, as a country, you have to identify the country's problem and then look for solutions for the best of the entire country. That's ideal. But as human beings, if people talk about a world without borders, if that's our angle, then we need to give each other a chance to speak out what is needed and what kind of help we need. And there are people who do not know how to ask for help when they need help. And then there are people who are capable of helping but do not know how to help. All the last bit I mentioned, it's a human condition, and the only way to solve these things is education. Education, I keep coming to this, it's education, because that's the only place where we can teach a child, it's an easier mind to bend, to be open to things, not being frustrated when something doesn't work. Or let's not believe them when your child comes home and says, I don't think the teacher likes me. And you go blaze into the school because you think everybody likes your child. So let's be on the same team, because adults need to get together and agree on a way so we can all raise these children. Individually, these individual child raising, it's not working out because the child's only form of communication is with their parent or someone adult. They don't get to practice how to negotiate with peers. Thus, at the end, they immediately are too worried about what others think of them and what can they do immediately to manipulate the outcome. Looking at TikTok. There's a lot of ass on TikTok. A lot of ass. Dime pieces too. Like gorgeous, gorgeous. And one of the TikTokers today, very busty girl, very like a thin strap going over the nipples, and then just, covering her private parts in a bikini, and then her background voice says, sometimes you just don't have to do anything. And then you look over the side, it's 250,000 likes. This is our culture. This is a culture. Then you go to a regular American home where people cherish sitting with their family. And this is just not an American home. Any family home in the world, those people know the most important thing is being able to get together around that table with the loved ones and fill your tummy, exchange some stories, making a memory. These are the things that I think it's important, and I believe that if as human beings every day we wake up and strive to make better memories than yesterday, I think we can get somewhere. And also, we should allow others to create good memories for us. Perhaps saying yes to things. Maybe. All these things are possibilities. Because currently, it's very, very ugly. It's very ugly. In the same country, countrymen are standing face to face and telling each other hateful things. Hateful things. The so-called white folk who are racist, so who are assumed to commit a hate crime, are being spit on by people who are anti-racist with vulgar language. Has there ever been a successful outcome with those components together? Two parties who agree and they're both yelling at one another and barking obscenity, telling each other just like how they're gonna just, I'll kick your ass. No, I'll kick your ass. I will find your family. No, I will find your family. This is the current conduct, current conversation. And oh, God bless social media. God bless all media. Media is not helping. I talked about this the other day too. Media is just pumping fear, panic, all that crazy. Well, I don't know how we're gonna come out through this, but what I am doing is I am making good memories. Yesterday, the salsa band was here and we practiced. Over the weekend, a friend of ours came by and we just tried to host her the best we could, hung out with the children. It was Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all fathers. And you know, just trying to learn a little bit, have another laughter. A friend of ours got married in all this chaos. We went to that wedding party. A friend of ours celebrated their 50th anniversary for their wedding. They had us over for dinner. These are beautiful things. Beautiful things are happening, but beautiful things are not being reported. Maybe instead of grabbing the bullhorn and screaming, "Fuck you," maybe we should grab the bullhorns and either play music out of them or deliver a good news, read a poem, read a good story, you know, yell out free hugs, love. I think that's the medicine. That has always been the medicine. And I challenge anyone who think that love is not the answer. Well, stay in love. My name is Engin Yeşilyemiş. I am the author of Book of Engin. If you have any comments, please do email me at bookofengin at gmail.com. I also am on Podbean, so if you want to just keep this in your ears and listen to all that, please subscribe, please share, and hope to talk to you soon. Be well, and like I said, stay in love. Bye-bye.